Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Halloween H20, 20 Years Later, which is a bad title. I'm just going to get that out of the way. Probably should have just went with Halloween 20 Years Later and cut out H2O, because you're just going to get a bunch of puns calling it Halloween Water, which I do call this movie, even though I've never seen the movie in its entirety. I've seen the ending before, but never the full thing, and my thoughts on this one is it's probably the best Halloween movie since Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2 from 1981, and it's not really saying much. Like, out of all of the ones I've seen, this is probably my favorite out of everything that came out after Halloween 2 that I've seen, at least. And where this movie works for me are the performances. I like seeing Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode, and I like the idea of her character being in this movie and what they do with her character and certain things that they explore. They explore that she's haunted by Michael Myers, and that stuff I liked. I liked the drama between her and her son, John, and those worked pretty well for me. And there's good scenes with just characters. When it's not focusing on the horror, that's when this movie works pretty well for me. And this movie's pretty short. It's just under an hour and a half, and it does move by at a pretty quick pace, which I do like. And I liked the new Halloween theme and how it was used in the movie. That was nice. And I liked the security guard character. He was funny. And the opening shot, I did like it. Like the very first shot of the movie, it was kind of neat to watch because it went on for like longer than any other shot in the movie. And that's why it stands out. And I like the iconic shot of Laurie Strode and Michael Myers facing off against each other through like a window. That I liked. And now I'm going to get into my issues with the movie, and one of the things that kind of let me down about this movie is how the music is used, and it's used way too often, and in scenes where it's supposed to be intense and scary, like you would want it to be quiet, silent, but instead this movie just decides to have music playing in basically every scene except for when Laurie Strode is with her son, and that's about it. Like, just talking with her son, and that's it. And I just couldn't stand the usage of music in literally, like, almost every instance of, like, characters talking, or just when suspense is implied. Like, it just takes away so much from the movie. Like, if you just had no music, it would have been a lot better. And like, what's happening visually is good enough. Like, there wasn't anything unintentionally goofy, just visually from what I was seeing. So, the fact that they included music when they really just did not need to was even more strange for me. It's like, you didn't need to do that. I've also heard criticisms that Michael Myers is too short in this movie. Like, he looks like he's 5'9" in some of the shots, and I did notice that, but it didn't really bother me. I was more focused on other elements of the film, like the amount of jump scares we get in the movie was pretty annoying, and most of them are just false scares, like just someone is sneaking up on someone, or they just don't notice it, and it's like, am I supposed to be scared here? It's like, why is that in the movie? And I also found it kind of funny that in the background they're playing the movie Scream, and that was kind of funny because in Scream they're showing like footage from John Carpenter's Halloween in that movie, and in this movie, in a Halloween movie, they're showing footage of the first Scream movie. Like, I thought that was kind of funny, but at the same time, it is kind of sad that in Scream, it's kind of being shown to tell the audience the rules of like horror movies. Like, don't say you'll be back, otherwise you're not coming back, or just like anything to make fun of horror movies. And in this movie, they don't really have that self-awareness, and it's just more straightforward and what you you would expect them to do, and basically just a traditional slasher movie. And this movie is directed by Steve Miner, the same director as Friday the 13th Part 2 and Part 3. So they got someone with experience in slasher movies, and I don't really think it was achieved very well in this movie. And I know people complained in Halloween Kills that the amount of death and violence in that movie is over the top, and they found it to be kind of distracting. Whereas I was like, it made the movie more entertaining, so that's why I don't dislike that movie for that reason. And it just kind of feels weird that this movie is trying to have like some fun kills in it. And while I don't personally mind it, it does kind of feel a bit out of place for me. And there's a lot of stupid things that happen in this movie that are sprinkled throughout the entire film, which I'm not really going to get into because I don't want to spoil anything. There were also some very cheesy sound effects in this movie. When it came to the kills, they just sounded like stock sound effects, like for a knife cutting, or just a stabbing sound effect, or just like anything, or a knife slashing. It just felt like stock sound effects, and that was very distracting for me. And also, another issue I have with this movie is that I don't feel as though the build-up to the Michael Myers attacking these people, like, I don't feel as though it's built up properly, like in the original 78 film, because in that movie, there's a lot of build-up, and it's kind of a slow pace, and it's just building and building, and not too much is happening because we get a decent amount with the characters, and we get to focus on them, whereas in this movie, half of the movie is focused on characters, the other half is just the kills. Like it's 50-50, and they're trying to keep you satisfied with both good characters and fun kills. And in some ways, I guess it works, but in other ways, I wanted more, in a sense. And also another issue I had was that throughout the entire film, I don't really remember this being an issue with the Carpenter film or any of the other Halloween films, but I just felt as though, not in every scene, but the majority of the scenes in this movie, every shot was just way too close, and I didn't get to see the location. I want to see the environment. I want to see more of what room we are in, and the movie doesn't really give you that. And that was irritating. So in the end, Halloween H2O, I'm very torn on it. There are things about it that I do really like. There are things about it that I do not like. And it's overall just a mixed bag for me, and it's watchable, but this could have been something great. It's just wasted potential in my eyes, and I guess that you can check it out because I know a lot of people really enjoy this one, and B, like when people say like the Halloween trilogy, this is like the third installment in that trilogy, with the first two being the original film and the sequel to the original film, and this would be the third one, and they just ignore Halloween Resurrection, which I've never seen, but I've heard is bad. If you want to watch it, go right ahead. If you don't want to watch it, you're not missing a whole lot. And that's how I feel about it. So with all that being said, I'm going to give Halloween H2O 20 years later a 5 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Halloween H2O, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up. And it's going to be for a film that I didn't realize was from 1998, because Halloween H2O came out in 98, and this movie also came out in 98, so... And I've never seen it before, and I decided, let's see how it is, and that is Armageddon, directed by Michael Bay. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching, and have a great day.